welcome to Thursdays of Procurement League. We usually have some
Yeah.
people who join live, but a lot of people will watch this on our website, on our YouTube, on our LinkedIn page. So I'm just really glad that we get to have our Thursday evening for us spent talking to you for the next 45 minutes to the next hour. So just for you know, uh, everybody's knowledge, I'm going to quickly give the best introduction that I can give of Wunmi, and then I'm going to hand it over to you to, illustrate that and add to that. But what I know is that you've spent a lot of time studying at Harvard, all things procurement and everything else. And other than you've done your master's from there, you've got a credentials course from there, you've done a certificate course, but other than that, you've spent 15 years or so at Chevron in multiple roles, right from project coordination to risk management to procurement, logistics. So it just feels like you've like kind of grown in that system for really long. And I think that always builds a depth and a legacy to a person in a certain field when you stay put where you are. So I'd love to kind of hear from you. Is there anything else that you would like to add to your introduction before we go on?
Yeah. So I'm a career-driven individual. I'm so driven. So that is one thing about me. I'm not satisfied with one status quo, and I don't love written job. I just like to update myself as much as I could. As the world is evolving, I am also evolving. So that is one thing about my career and generally about my life.
Awesome. All right. Okay. So let's kind of start off with the basic question that I ask everyone, which is why procurement, right? You studied at the, it seems like you have the confidence and you had everything to study whatever you wanted, go to the best colleges, Ivy League colleges, all of that. And it seems like you still have stuck on in the space of procurement for so long. Why procurement, and what made you keep choosing it and not switch career paths?
Wow. Well, interestingly, so I didn't started my career off as a procurement person, or supply chain in general. So because my career has actually evolved over the period of time, actually work as a project resource person. I work on projects. So most of the projects I worked on, one way or the other, as a project manager, project coordinator, project assistant, or whatever we call it, you tend to have access to everything. You tend to control more or less like everything. So my everything is to ensure that my supply chain is active, and the supply chain is the engine of any organization. I do say it is a engine of, if you want to have a successful project, the supply chain have to be intact. So being a project coordinator, project manager on major capital projects, small capital projects, actually enable me to do some support services job. You have your material, you're tracking your material, you want to order for a material to check the specification, does it align with what you want, the lead time, all those kind of things. You're trying to negotiate based on the budgets you have as a project coordinator. They give you a budget that you shouldn't exceed, and then you have your buyer that's already processed the order, so you want to negotiate. So one way or the other, you get yourself doing most of this job, and then you get yourself being exposed to it. So over the time, I just realized that I think I have more strength in this kind of environment because my first degree is computer science. So I actually write program, I do all that. But how come I didn't end up being a computer science? I realized that because of procurement, the supply chain enable you to do more of interaction, to engage external people, which is to build relationship in the first place. So like to solve problem, to challenge status quo, to negotiate, those are the kind of things that I enjoy doing. So I found myself in that kind of space. I understand, oh yeah, you went to Ivy League college, the expectation is for you to, at the end of it all, after your program, is either become like, there are some expectations, but sometimes you want to align with what work for you. Sometimes you get to a stage that you want to do what will really make your day. Like you're going to the office, you're so happy, and then you're coming back home, you feel fulfilled. So that is how it is for me.
That's excellent. That's amazing. And I think that's a really important message for lots of people who will be listening to this, because it's so easy to want to switch paths and careers. So thank you for
Right.
sharing. Uh,
Thank
and why
you.
did you just stick through Chevron? Like, did you feel like were there moments that you wanted to kind of switch? Did you get like better opportunities and you didn't choose it, and you still stuck on? And how did you make those decisions? I have a lot of
I
friends.
don't get my stake stuck. Number one, so I don't get stuck. So everybody have a choice. So sometimes you kind of look at it, okay, what kind of organization give you the leverage for you to be more? So Chevron is a big organization and there's a whole lot going on. There's so much opportunity within the organization. So is it somewhere that you can, they kind of restrict you for you not to be able to do what you want to do, for you not to be able to feel happy, to feel fulfilled? I think Chevron is a big organization that's actually care about the individual, the safety, your family. And then, of course, the bottom line, they care about the bottom line, but they believe that the employee are the one that make us to be profitable. So when a company know that, okay, without this, my employee, there's no way I can be profitable. There's no way I can achieve my goal. Then they kind of take care of their employees. So I didn't I would say that I get stuck. I've never been stuck. It's just a fantastic, great organization to work for.
Got it. Tell me how do you define an excellent organization? I'm sorry, I'm taking notes as you're writing, so I can ask you. But tell me,
Yeah.
how do you define an excellent organization? And Wunmi, why I'm asking you this is because I have a lot of friends who are at excellent organizations, but they're always also, and they're doing really well, but they always keep getting offers from other excellent organizations. So how do you decide to stick on in this excellent organization and not leave? What would a young person listening to this think when they're navigating their careers in procurement?
Wow. That's a good question. So, how do you define a great organization? I feel that nobody can define a great organization for you except you. You know what you want in life generally, in terms of career, family, friends, and all that. It's not something that somebody can actually define. It's you that will define it. If you go to an office and the whereby whenever you get there, you feel like, what am I doing here? That's a sign, right? Why am I even here? You're not feeling connected. Every now and then you can't wait to go home. You don't do your job as if it's something you love. Sometimes if you don't love what you do, sometimes probably you might need to switch career. When I was working as a programmer or website designing, I enjoyed it at some point, but I wasn't really, really into it because I don't feel myself. I don't feel connected because it kind of puts me at the back end. And personally, I don't like to be at the back end. So I kind of switched my career over time. I started enjoying what I'm doing. I started building my team, building friends, connected to the kind of people that I want. So for me, I was able to define, and can the organization allow me to explore within the organization? If it is that, fine. So I feel that is the individual that can define it. It's not with me. I can't define what is good and what is bad. Some people just look for, okay, some organization, oh, inclusive, the culture. Some organization, oh, they have a fantastic culture, working relationship, their value, right? You look at their value. Is it good? Is it good? Is it not good? Does it align with what they want and all that? So for young people listening, so when you're young, you want to, like, I tell people, you can't be jumping from one organization to the other. Like, oh, I spent 6 months here, I'm jumping. What are you learning? You want to understand the in-depth of the environment you are in. No matter how you feel that terrible the organization is, there's something that you're going to take up. Probably maybe really human relation, how you deal with people, or your job and how you do it. So because of the experience is what you're going to build, put on your resume, and it's what you're going to build over the period of time. As an individual, if you find a good organization that you feel that, oh, they give you, let's say 70% of what you want, stick to it, grab what you need to grab. And it's a time, everybody should have a life plan, don't you? You should have your career plan. If you know that, okay, I'm going to be here for 5 years. Why do I want to live there? It could be that the fact that I just want to relocate, to change my environment, okay, commuting to where I'm moving to. to where I work might be difficult. Okay, let me look for another organization. Or probably you want to switch industry. You want to switch career. Oh, you marry, you want to move closer to where your wife works, closer to where your husband works. So there are quite a number of factors that make people to make that decision. But individual must be able to know exactly what they want. You have to write it out. Okay, these are the things that I want in the next 5 years. What do I want to do? And then sometimes we make decision because of the way the company is actually making up to feel at the right time. If you make a drastic decision that you want to leave, you might eventually regret it. So what attracts me to this organization? Why do I even come to this organization as well? What have I gained? Am I learning from it? Is it making me to lose myself in the process? If you're losing yourself in the process, you know that is a red flag. You shouldn't lose who you are. You should gain, except if you don't know who you are. So those questions are kind of passing. I understand people, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. But if you're not fulfilled, you're getting a whole lot of money at the end of the month, but you feel trash. You're not fulfilled.
I get it. I feel like it's a little bit like a marriage, right? Like there's always going to be better options, worse options, easier options. That, but how much do you stick through, and what makes you stick through? No, for sure. I love that. Thank you. That's really good advice, and I feel like that's going to be this. So Wunmi, being a woman in procurement, being a strong, very well educated woman in procurement, and it's like now slowly starting to become like there are women in it, but I believe, I'm sure when you started off it was a very male dominated industry. How did you keep rising up the ranks? What were some struggles you faced being, a woman in procurement, where there's a lot of negotiation and sales and, risk analysis, risk management, all of that? And so I'll let you answer this and then I'll ask the follow-up. Being a woman in
what
was
interesting. I always get that question, being a woman in male-dominated environment. So number one, this is how I take it. I take it back home. Who am I? Who is Wunmi? I'm a woman. I was born as a woman. Who am I? Do I see myself like a woman? Like, there's some group of people that have to do something differently the way I do my things. I have a scope. They give me a job to get it done. Wunmi, I want you to negotiate this. Okay, this particular rate is, let's say 100,000 per hour. I want you to negotiate it to 80. What are the resources that I need to get it done? Those are the things that I focus on. It's so funny, like probably maybe the way I've been brought up. I didn't see myself that, because of I'm a woman, right? There's something that I can do. There's something that I can't say, I can't say this where I am. I can't behave in a certain way. So that is why I talked about that. You now depend on the industry that you are working, right? In my own industry, there's nothing like, because of you're a woman. There's nothing like a gap. Being a woman, this is where you're going to be, because he's a man, this is how you're. I understand that there's a cultural differences. So as a woman, you have to respect, which is well acknowledged. So number one, I don't even let that get into me. If I let that get into me, it's going to influence my decision, right? Do I even say that you notice that I'm a woman? There's a way I should even deal with you. Let me get my job done. I have the policy, I have everything that will enable me to back up all what I am doing. So I don't even think about it. When I saw the question, I'm like, okay, come to think of it, what are the challenges that I face as a woman in this industry negotiating with people? No, the only thing that I face is when people call me, maybe we did a conversation on the phone. We had a conversation after the meeting because I don't put on my camera. They don't know the person they were talking to. So when they now meet me in person, they'll be like, oh, you're this small. Look at you. You're just talking as if you're a madam, you're big, you're the CEO, right? So you're this small, and they will just laugh over it. So it depends on the individual. How do you see people? How do we do with people? Sometimes because you're a leader here, you have people working for you, the way you deal with those people working for you, that is how you're going to deal with. It's not even being a woman. How about the women, how they deal with themselves, right? How do you deal with your coworker? How do you deal with your subordinates? How do you deal with your friends? So it depends on individual. So I feel that the way you deal with people, that's how you're going to be dealt with. Do you respect people when you're talking to them? Number one. Do you respect them? Not that you just talk to them because you're their superior. How about the janitor? How do you deal with the janitor? Right. So when you are talking to someone, please, hello, can I do this? Can I do that? I feel that there's a level of way that they're going to respond to you back. So that one is quite important. So for me, I don't really put into it my head, maybe because of the kind of industry I work for. So there's nothing like that in my industry. There's nothing like that. Women don't, well, not that I am aware of because I've never experienced it. Of course, there are quite a number of challenges in the organization, in all organization. But in terms of being a woman, rising, as a woman, you're at an advantage. Just do your job. Just do your job. There's time for work. There's time for play. Just focus on your focus. That's how I see it. I hope I answer your question.
I love that. I mean, the only way to survive in any industry is be a woman and remain a strong woman. And I think that's how men begin to respect women rather than women trying to be anything other than who they are.
If you're working as if you're also competing, because people work to compete. I want to prove that I'm a woman, I can do it. Why do you want to prove? Do you want to prove to? Just get your job done. Prove to yourself. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself like a leader? Do you see yourself like a woman? Or do you see yourself like a janitor? It's how you see yourself. That's how people will address you. So stop competing. You're not competing with men. You're not competing with women. You're not competing with anybody. You should compete with yourself. That is why it is always very important to have your goal, know where you are going, so that every other distraction, every other thing that people are saying, it doesn't distract you. You know who you are. You know what you want. Just focus on your focus.
Yeah, I love that so much. So yeah, that's really good advice, because I feel like there's a lot of mixed opinions, mixed ideas, these new age ideas of feminism, and there's a lot of stuff floating around, and it's just really
and
good to hear.
I also believe that the more you focus on it, the more you expand. The more people were talking about it, are they solving the problem? They are not solving the problem because you put spotlight on it. Whatever I pay attention to, it expands. We're not solving anything. We're just kept on putting attention to it, and then everybody, and then before you go, you'll be like, oh, because I'm a woman. No, it's not because of you're a woman. If you misbehave, you get it back. Respect other people, you will be respected. And if you feel that you're being dealt with all because of you're a woman, that is on him. It shouldn't be on you. The moment you allow every other or third party influences the decision to impact you, then you've given them the power. You're not going to give anybody the power to control how you should live, how you should talk, how you should behave. Then you're living for this society. You're not living for yourself.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's excellent. That's just brilliant. Thank you. Shahina, Avneet, and Gurmar, Gaurav, I hope like this has been helpful nugget for us listening to it live. And I'm sure when everyone hears it, I mean, it'll just resonate, I think, with lots of people out there. So Wunmi, talk a little bit more about how has, you spoke about yourself, just like looking at women, feminism, women empowerment in procurement. Have you seen that change over the last 15 years? Like, bird's eye view of how you've just seen women in the field growing, have, their roles changed, what has changed?
Wow. So the interesting thing is that in supply chain, you remember procurement it's not a well-known job title. Like it's gaining more attention. What make it even to get more attention after COVID, your supply chain negotiation and all that. So as we women, like anywhere that is selling, we really want to get involved. I see a lot of attraction, and then the role is the field is attracting smart individual people, and the field is actually building collaboration within the industry, outside the industry, and among women. So it's a role as a woman now, you now realize that, okay, this is where your skill set lies, because it is actually amazing. They usually say that women actually know how to negotiate. before you even know that I become a procurement person, if I go to the market to buy anything, I look to way to negotiate. You know, women, your husband give you 10,000 naira. Oh, let me use the word $10,000, let's say, and then go and get this thing. You always want to negotiate. I think it's going forward, women have a lot of opportunity to grow within the supply chain, the procurement, because it's aligned with who we are as an individual. It's aligned with some women value and all that. So I think it's growing, and it's going to attract a whole lot of people. How about the young one coming up now? So in MIT now, they've started, there's most of this Ivy League college, even non-Ivy League college, not this big school, they are started there. There's a program for supply chain. There's a degree, there's a master for supply chain management, meaning that it's gaining more attraction. And if you see, people are really signing up for it, right? So it's going to be so big that it's a career that you really want to be in. And then it's a great opportunity for women, for men, for young career individual. I feel that even those people that are young, you want to even get into that scope because it's huge. If you're good with numbers, you can work as an analyst. It is huge. Supply chain is huge. Because it's the major issue that most organizations have. If you don't get your supply chain well, so you're going to, if you don't have your material, you don't have a schedule. You can't execute. If you don't have your equipment, there's no project, right? So they need people that have smart idea. They are very strategic in terms of production, manufacturing, right? So it's broad. It is broad. I hope I answer your question.
No, that's great. That's super helpful. So tell me, I feel like why sometimes women get a bad rep professionally is because unfortunately until today the commitment of families and homes and children and just the bigger lives that women are expected to lead, maternity leaves and just like all of these other things sometimes have pushed women back, even though we're trying to push them forward. How do you think, how do you manage a family and a home, and if you have children, if you have parents, like how do you manage all of that but still keep up in your job and keep rising up the ranks? And what have been some obstacles that you faced? Because on this call and people who hear, there'll always be a lot of women who have to drop kids to school and pick up kids from classes, and somehow that just hasn't changed in all these years. So
yeah, that's a good one actually. What I say is that most women want to be a superwoman, want to do everything. You just want to like, oh yeah, I'm always there for my kids, I want to do everything. Delegate to people. You can't be a superwoman, you can't be pursuing your career and then you said that you want to balance your home 100%. You can't be here, you can't be there. One way or the other, something will suffer. For me, what I'll be able to do is to get support. Some people have family that can live with them. Oh, I have to be accommodative. If I said I don't want anybody to live with me, I have to be accommodative when I know that I need somebody that was going to take care of this and I need to do my job. My job, I can't delegate my job 100%. There's something I can delegate at home. Okay, my children, they have like 5 activities within a month. How many can I go? Which one is more important? Can I split it within my husband? Okay, guy, can you go for 2 and then where I go for 3? Okay, if we can't do it, can we get somebody that can actually represent her? Right. So if I need to pick up my kids in school, can I get a school bus? Can I get an external service that can actually handle that for me? You just want to be a superwoman. That is why some area will lack. You just have to prioritize. You have to delegate. You can't do everything. Even naturally, your own mental state, what causes stress? Those are the kind of things that cause stress. And then when stress accumulates, it causes disease. And then you don't have the strength, you don't even have the power to achieve both. Delegate. Have fun, delegate. Life is not that difficult. You're the one that, like, okay, this is the ideal way that we're supposed to, that's what parenting is about. I'm not going to read your whole script and use it for myself because I have girls. I got 2 girls, 14 and 10 years old, right? So I know the way I train them. I know what they can do. Why other people will tell me that this is how you should train your kid? Like a friend of mine told me, oh, your daughter, she's kind of cute. Let's register her for what's it called? All this advertisement kind of thing, like a billboard and all that. I'm like, yeah, sure, we love it, but we don't have the time. This is not the time. I'm not going to embrace everything, every idea that people give me. I look at our table, I look at what we have, I look at the plan, I look at what she wants. And then does it align with this suggestion that people are giving me? No, you don't take everybody advice. Parenting is personal. You have to understand your home. You have to understand what your weaknesses are. And if you can't do it, delegate it. Employ people to do it. Everybody wants to check the mark. If another person check it for you, you check it, it's still 100%. Your children homework, you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to stay to her, but you can't do it. If you can employ somebody to do it for you, let it get it done. The most important thing is that your your children actually get the mark. The quality time you spend with them is more important. Delegate time, find the time, let them understand, be transparent, let them know. Because you're a role model to your child. Anyways, that's how I say it. Like my children see me as their role model. I don't want another person to train them for me. Right? I don't want the society to train my kids. So delegate, don't try to be a superwoman. I'm strong, I have a supportive home, I have a perfect home and all that. Who are you competing with? The people that are telling you all this, they're still trying to figure it out. Figure it out. Parenting is personal. Take care of your home, delegate what you can do. It's not a big deal. If you love your career, you know your career is more important. Go for it. If you feel that your home is more important for you, go for you. You are not living for anybody. You are living for yourself.
I love that. I mean, it's such an important opinion, which such few women actually honestly talk about and say it with the kind of honesty and boldness and bluntness that you just said it with. And you know, when me, I mean, I run a, besides Procurement League, I run a think tank for kids on the spectrum of autism. And there are days when I was telling my friend the other day, I was like, there are days when I am so tired by the end of the day. And then I've read some quotes somewhere that say, you know, a woman's strength is like a tea bag and just all of that. And I'm just like, you know, sometimes women have been tried to made to seem stronger than they actually can handle and seem a lot bigger than they actually are. And I think in all of this conversation around feminism, how a woman should be, how strong, how to delegate, how to manage families, we sometimes forgotten our inner strength. That is it actually what I'm feeling, or is it what I'm feeling because society has told me to feel that way as a woman?
Exactly.
Like sometimes
so we allow women, not even women, I think everybody, the attention is so much on women, like even men. That's why some people are not raising great men, like they are not raising great kids, because we put so much attention women. How about even the guys? Why would we allow the society to determine how you're supposed to live? Who are the society? Just bunch of people, different kind of people that come up with an idea that this guy is supposed to be. But is this idea serving them? Is it going to serve you?
Yeah. No, for sure.
You know, it's all about, even when people are choosing career, they will tell you that, oh, this is what is selling, this is what is selling. Is it going to serve you? Do you have the capacity? Do you have the strength? Do you have what it takes to achieve it? Do you want to just jump into it? Does it align with what you want? We have people, let me tell you, no matter what you choose to become, you're going to be fine. You don't have to do what every other person is doing. If you have a supportive man that is supporting you, you don't like, women need to work. If you have some people have a great husband that take care of them, do everything for them. Even they are the one that manage the home account. Oh, because every woman is working. Me too, I also want to work. Is that what you really, really, really want? You know, you don't want to live your life eventually you regret it. And the same thing applies to even in procurement, in the way we choose our material, in the way we do things, in the way we select our suppliers. So everything is kind of entwined, right? So individuals have to understand that what really, really worked for me. And then, you know, you started a career, I just want to grow overnight. So you have to invest. You have to invest. If you choose this is what you want to do, you just have to invest into it. Always
I
remember
love,
that what most important is how you feel. How you
yeah.
feel. Are you happy eventually? You know, you collect your salary and then you go home, you're like, damn, Wunmi, I did it. How do you feel eventually? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
you don't
for
want to
sure.
make all the money eventually, you're now spending it on different kind of disease.
I hear you. I hear you. And you know what, Vanmi, I feel like a lot of the support, as you just spoke of, sometimes
Mm-hmm,
comes when, like, when you plant yourself with full fulfillment and courage into a career, then your loved ones automatically begin to support you. And when, you're confused and you don't know, and you're tired and you're frazzled, then I think sometimes even your loved ones don't know how to support you, where to support you, what should they support you with. So yeah, so I feel like you've touched upon some really, really important points, which I think will be helpful for many people. So when I'm really curious about, I think everything that we do is dictated a lot by the countries that we live in, the government that is, managing the affairs of the country, how the currency exchange is working, how the
mm-hmm.
geopolitical relationships are with other countries. How has your nationality, your country, your city, um, you know influenced your work, and has it helped it, has it not? What has been like the political climate, and that how's that supported or not supported your work?
Yeah, if I get your question correctly, so inflation is everywhere, almost all over the world, right? So it actually make it most challenging for professional procurement individual, because if you negotiate this, if you're trying to buy this material, you negotiate it, you agree, and then place your PO, they come back to tell you that price have changed, you know. So it affects. So the world is reacting the moment that they hear something and the news, something happened, the market reacts to it. So it makes us to be in an uncertain environment, uncertainty environment. So for me, how I react is just having a lot of contingencies, right? If I need to get this project, maybe the project is $100 million to going to get it done to execute it. I'm going to have 30% contingency. This in terms of okay, because of the uncertainty environment that we found ourselves. That's actually always make me plan. It's not a plan B, just a contingency. Like okay, I can always put so that every other thing will be moving forward. And then the same thing with my career as well, right? So it's having a contingency because it's not something that we can control right now, because the world everywhere it is reacting. So it's because my business unit, the country that I live, I'm in Nigeria and I live in Nigeria and I just moved to the UK, right? So in Nigeria, we don't produce some things, right? So we rely on European countries everywhere, so to purchase our goods. So we can wake up in the morning and then the price has gone up because of dollar rate, the pounds rate, the euro rate has gone up. So it puts us in an uncertainty environment. So how do you plan yourself ahead of that? Is just to always have your contingency. So if this thing is 50, you want to hand contingency of 30% to it, just to be on the good side, so that you can be profitable in the environment you find yourself.
No, I love that. I think that's fabulous. Okay, and tell me how, how did London, the whole exiting EU, all of that, how did that affect the supply chain side of things? Or did it freak you out? Like how, what was the impact of that?
Well, so I just moved to the UK, and then I realized that this environment, as a supply chain person, as a procurement person, this is where you want to be, because due to the Brexit, it actually affects supply chain a lot. So there's some things that it was easy now. It is different. So each country have their own way of doing things. So it's just like make it to be more strategic. So most organizations, they are looking for strategic procurement individual, not just like a routine, the way we do, not traditional way of doing things. They are looking for individual that is more creative, more strategic, not a traditional person. They are like, as the world is evolving, like the person can quickly react to the market and make a straight decision. Someone that's a great decision maker, somebody that can forecast that. So in the next 5 years, I think that this is how the trend is going, and they help you to make your decision. So if you're a strategic procurement person, this is where you want to be, because there's so much opportunity for you within the EU, and then in the UK as well. They have, like, if you check on LinkedIn, just like, okay, procurement role in the United Kingdom, you will see quite a number. They will tell you, oh, they need a strategic procurement person. See the job description is like, they need somebody that can solve the problem that they are facing right now, because they don't understand, companies don't understand how important a procurement person is. You can't just pick somebody on the street and like, oh, okay, somebody that just an admin person that can take care of the role. It's not something any other person, anybody that just wake up can do. You have to grow into it. You have to grow to be strategic, understand the business, understand your supplier, understand sourcing, understand buying, negotiating. So all of that together, that is what the world is looking for. The world is looking for, because the world is evolving, like the way it's moving. And then as an individual, that is why the training, the conferences, this kind of thing is very essential. You know, it's very, very essential, because you understand how this industry is doing their thing. How can I apply it to my own job? What are the training that I need? What kind of conference do I need to join? Who are my network? What am I gaining from them? Do you understand? So you just have to be, like ready to learn. You just have to know that you're not going to do things traditionally. So your skill set can be absolute within a month. They need somebody else that can do it differently. Every organization wants what you can bring to the table. Not, you see some job, somebody is leaving this role, they want to replace it. They want, what is it that you're bringing new? What can you do differently? Do you understand? So the world EU is reacting to supply chain. Supply chain happens to be the major issue, and there happens to be a selling point for a lot of professionals.
Got it. Amazing. That's super helpful. Okay. So tell me, Wunmi, I'm curious. You've kind of touched upon this before, but I'm going to ask this again. How did a Harvard, like I went to Columbia, and I know that it really helps me in my work with kids on the spectrum of autism, when I'm trying to build my think tank, when I'm trying to work towards, gifted education or any of that. I know that the stamp of an Ivy League college helps in that specific niche career. But how about procurement? Do you feel like because you went to Harvard, it has helped you a lot in your career? And if there's a young person who's just getting into procurement, what would you advise them?
So for me, Harvard actually changed my life. It changed my career. That's the only thing I could say. So it changed everything, right? So my confidence level, everything about me kind of changed. In terms of, how do I be in procurement and all that? So most of the case studies that I have done, and well, another thing that I need to emphasize is also Harvard actually helped me with my strategic and tactical thinking. Most of the case studies, if you go to business schools, you're doing your master's, it's mostly case studies. Because I did management, right? It's case studies. Okay, this industry, this company, they have these issues, they have that. You come up with a solution on how to solve it. They don't give you the response of this is how you should solve it. They just give you a textbook, and then your professor comes to class, teach you, and then make you think. Every case study, you'll make you think about it. So for me, what drew me to it, I've been with Chevron for a very long time before I went back to school. I understand the project management as well. So the school actually helped me to really understand how to solve problems in a strategic and tactical way, right? So, and all this case study, you see that, okay, some of it is relationship building. Some of it is not being more strategic. Some of it is having bad leaders. Some of it is just supply chain, right? You didn't forecast very well. So you kind of do all this case study, and then you realize that, okay, the engine of this problem is something like this. Okay, I have the skill set to solve it. So that is what drew me into it. So business school, regarding the school, it doesn't have to be because of its Harvard. So most of them, they share the same business cases. So how you now apply it, you're not just going to let the school you pass through you pass through the school. So what are the things that I really need to pick? What do I need? How do I apply? Like, because I now did like a strategic management. So to be more strategic in the way of doing things, which help my thinking and my analytical skills, right? So all those one come together. So that's what I'm saying, that if you want to learn something, you learn it well. You're not going to jump from one place to the other, one place to the other. Oh, this is what is selling, I'm going to jump here. If you want to be a supply chain is broad. We have contract, we have procurement, we have transportation, we have logistics. So you might start from the minimum, bare minimum, and they start growing. I bet it's a good field to be. Every organization, all industry needs supply chain. Is it pharmaceutical? Is it oil and gas? Is it bank, investment banking? Is it in the marketing? Anywhere, all industry. Is it housing? Right? People that are building property, consultancy. Like there was a time, one which I don't want to mention, a huge, big consultancy firm reach out to me. They need a procurement professional. These are the things that they don't really think about before. Now they realize how important it is. So if anybody found themselves in that, it's a fantastic, great career to build your empire.
It's excellent. Thank you. That's good advice. And that's a good way of thinking. Love it. Okay. So Wunmi, tell me, what is really changing in the field of procurement? What have you seen changing in the field of procurement? And I'm always looking at how investments work, how all kinds of how who's buying which football team, who's buying which cricket team, who's buying what stocks, who's buying what shares. Like I'm always looking at that movement across how the ed tech industry is booming, how people are being laid off in massive hordes. If people are being laid off, who is then being taken on? Like I'm always looking at the movement of people, resources, money, and all of that. Tell me a little bit more about what do you think is changing in the field of procurement, and what would be your advice to incoming women or men when they're getting into the field of procurement, based on just the changing.
Yeah, for me, like what I've said earlier, it's changing a lot. Like people are learning a lot, and then people are looking for where they can feel more, right? So some people are now understanding what they bring to the table. Like you said, procurement is not just buying; it's a whole lot more. So I think it's attracting. What I see in procurement is it's attracting smart, strategic, individual, like people in different, let me say, I think procurement is actually attracting people in different fields, like I have a friend of mine what does she's an accountant, and that she wants to build a career in procurement, because procurement is more or less like everyday life. I think it's attractive. What I say is that it's attracting smart, intelligent individual. Some people will tell you that, oh, I just want to study medicine, I just want to study, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, and all those things that we know when we're growing up. I think procurement is actually attracting this kind of people, and then it's changing the dynamic of it. It's changing the traditional way of doing things, is changing gradually. They are redefining it. They are adding more scope. There's some scope that's not supposed to be under procurement. They are now attracting it. So there was a time that one organization, where they want to make a decision in if they should make or buy, maybe we should outsource or we should do it ourselves. And they are looking for a procurement individual to look into that for them. So that kind of thing, you'll be looking at it, that, oh, procurement is enough for me to buy. What do I, make you to start thinking, diving more information. You're not just going to buy. It's not going to plan it. They allow you to plan, to think. So those people that have this kind of skill set is kind of attracting them. So that's what I'm saying, that if you're saying that, okay, you're an engineer, I want to change career, you are maybe an analyst, I want to change your career. The market is big, because it's changing the dynamic. It's changing the way people view it. It's there's one group that I'm following, there's one company that I procurement, they call themselves procurement head. And if you see the kind of industry that they are recruiting for, like the industry that comes to them, the kind of company, big organization, oh, we need a professional, we need a procurement, we need somebody on interim, we have this project, we need somebody that have this set of skills. And then sometimes they don't even look at it that if you have procurement experience for so years of time, but they want to see your skill set. What kind of skill set do you have? So it's changing the market one way, and it's becoming more attractive. Like the pay in the UK now, there's some job they would tell you that as a procurement person, you can earn up to 6 figures. In the UK, you can earn up to 6 figures now. So if you look at it, it's not like, okay, you're a director in the organization, you are head of. No, it's not necessary that, because it's way of attracting top talent. So it's changing. So that's why the traditional way of doing things it's becoming obsolete. You have to, keep on updating yourself. As you're updating your software, your phone software, you're updating, you're changing, you have to keep on updating your skill set as well. I hope that nailed it.
I think it's super difficult because it requires human agility, which sometimes breaks people's flow when you're going a certain direction and then you suddenly have to pivot and you have to pivot and you have to pivot. But I think if you don't have that inherent ability to be able to pivot according to the markets and be agile in your thinking, in your style, in your ways, then I think it hurts the industry a lot and your work. So that's just really good advice that, when you get in, how do you just prepare yourself for what's to come? Okay, last question before we wrap up. Wunmi, what's been the most interesting procurement story for you in your last 15 years or beyond of being in procurement? Like, what's been the most, something that you tell with pride or with a lot of interest in the space of procurement?
Yeah, I kind of build a lot of people. My network grows. So that is something that is kind of more interesting for me. It allow me to be more collaborative. It allowed me to work on myself, to know how to deal with people more. So it's something like this kind of thing is actually personal. It's always one thing that I've actually wanted. So being a procurement professional actually helped me to be more collaborative. And then it's built my network, both not within my industry, outside my industry. So make me to know people more, if not for this, I wouldn't have been here right now. I have you on my network. So it's a success story for me. Of course, it's for the same success story for my organization too, because they invest in people. So investing in people make it a lot interesting for me. I think it's actually enabled me to be me, to be more, to be more adaptive as well. So it's great.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add or share before we wrap up?
Okay, no, okay. So for me, my closing remark would just be that based on the conversation we've had as an individual, you don't want the world to control you. You don't want to the society to control you. Know what you want. If you know what you want, it enables you to choose the organization, right? You choose the organization, you choose the career path you want, you choose what is good for you. Be in control, especially women. You don't have to be the superwoman. Delegate. It's not a big deal. Who define how a best woman should be is the society, and the society will keep on running the show. They'll keep on talking if you allow them to have influence in your life. So you don't get to live your life and be like, oh, I should have done it differently. Be in charge. Be in charge of your career. Don't depend on anybody. Depend on you. You have a lot of power to achieve what you want. So the human mind is so huge. I tell people, what we put value, somebody lose money, said I've lost everything. You lose your house, you said I've lost everything. No, you've not lost anything. You still have your mind. Your mind is so powerful. You can be anything. You can be anything. You can be anything. The world is created with love. God created this world and I create it with love. And then love your neighbor, love yourself so much. And then so that you can attract exactly what you want. Life is it's so fun. Is not don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't keep on looking at the other person, the way they are growing your career, and they're using yourself uh using their career to judge yourself. Nope, don't do that. Sit down. What are your goals? What are your plans in the next 5 years? Stick to it. There are going to be challenges that are going to come with that is your part. That one is normal. You can't control that. What you can control is how you react to it. Don't let anybody deviate you from your original goal. You will achieve it. You will achieve. I started from, if I tell you my story, how I started and then where I am right now, and I'm not even there yet. I'm moving because I keep on updating myself. Don't allow the society to determine your life. Focus on you and then love yourself. Love the people around you. Life is fun.